everyone, Kaylee here. For my collaboration this week, I am collaborating with Rach Loves, who I have previously collaborated with. I love her and her videos, and so I of course reached out to her this month to see if she would like to be part of my little daily uploads in February thing, which we are calling FebruHairy. And she said yes, and we decided that because we both have fine hair, we should do our top 5 tips and tricks for fine hair. So we compared our top 5 tips and tricks and made sure that they were different, and they are. So she has her tips on her channel, and I have my tips over here. So if you want some additional tips after my video, you should go over and check out her channel and check out the rest of her videos because, like I said, she's fantastic. Whenever you apply products to very wet hair, the water that is on your hair actually dilutes the product. Now that can be a good thing or a bad thing for girls with fine hair. First of all, it can be a really good thing because if you have a leave-in conditioner or oil that you really like but can occasionally weigh your hair down too much, apply it when your hair is more wet. The water will dilute it and it will keep it from weighing down your hair throughout the day. Second of all, if you're trying to apply a volumizing product, wait until your hair is drier so the water doesn't dilute that product, so it will be more effective. You'll get much more volume from your volumizing products. Stay tangle free. And the thing is about fine hair, I've noticed that it tangles so much faster and so much tighter than every other hair type. If you wait and you let it kind of build up until you have to go on like a detangling marathon, you're gonna break a lot more hair than if you were to have just taken care of it when it was happening. So then when you get a lot of breakage, that means that you have lots of little broken pieces throughout here, probably with split ends, and it's hard to grow your hair long when your hair is constantly being broken. So you want to make sure to detangle your hair as much as possible. And of course, we're not going to sit there like detangling our hair like once an hour or anything like that. But I would say there's a couple key times to make sure that you detangle your hair. First of all, right before you shower, you should always absolutely detangle your hair. Because once your hair is wet, it's a lot more fragile. So if you go into the shower with tangly hair and then you wash your hair and you get more tangles from the shower and then you go to brush it out while your hair is wet, you're going to lose a lot more hair than if you were to just detangle it before the shower. Second of all, detangle it before sleep, because the thing is when you are like rolling around on your hair during the night and there's already tangles, you're just exacerbating the problem. You're making it worse, and it's just like the shower. You're going to end up losing way more hair that way. So just detangle your hair before you go to sleep. And then of course when you wake up in the morning, detangle it again, because even though I sleep with my hair in a braid, somehow it still gets tangled because it just is persnickety like that. I don't know why, it just does. Making sure that you keep your hair as tangle-free as possible is very key. Also, you want to make sure that you're using a gentle brush on your hair whenever you're detangling, because then you will break less hair than if you rip through with a really hard comb or brush or anything like that. Don't over dry your hair. One of the ways that people kind of over dry fine hair is by overusing volumizing products, specifically volumizing shampoos, because volumizing shampoos and clarifying shampoos are basically the harshest on the market. They're the ones that are going to strip your hair the most, and that's how you get that volume, is because your hair is stripped of everything, so you get that extra volume. But if you do that every single shower, you can imagine that your hair gets dried out very easily, and that's not exactly a good thing. So instead of using a volumizing shampoo every single shower, switch it up with something else. So maybe find a lightly moisturizing shampoo or one that's meant for color treated hair, as those are kind of more of the gentle ones without being really heavy, but they're still going to get your scalp clean. So you could use that maybe every other shower, or only use your volumizing shampoo once a week. That way you're getting rid of any buildup on your hair, you're helping to volumize your hair, but you're not over drying it, because that at the end of the day is going to cause a lot of bad things on your hair. Another thing that people with fine hair do that can dry out their hair is avoiding conditioners. And I sympathize, I understand conditioners can sometimes weigh your hair down, but you should never avoid them, because the thing is that you really do need them, especially if you're using volumizing shampoos. So I definitely recommend using at least a volumizing conditioner. Those are going to be some of the lightest ones, but you could also choose one that's meant to be lightly moisturizing, and then just use it on your ends. Don't put it up near your roots, because that's obviously going to weigh your hair down, because you're putting those kind of thick oils or conditioners right around your roots. So just put them through the ends of your hair and allow them to sit on your hair and moisturize your hair while you're taking your shower, and that will really help your hair over time. Experiment with texture, because that is going to help you to have a more voluminous look to your hair. If your hair is naturally very straight, or if you like to straighten it, you're probably going to notice that straight hair, especially when it's fine, looks very thin. It's going to look like you don't have as much hair, and it's a little bit harder to wear. So what I would say is experiment with different textures. You can do that in the form of different curl patterns, so you could have different curls, you could have loose waves, you could try straive, which is like a mixture of straight and wavy, and it actually looks kind of cool. I mean, you've seen it on like runways and fashion weeks all the time, I'm sure. And you can experiment with different textures, like put some surf product in your hair even if it is pretty straight, because that will still give it some life and something going on there. I feel like that's the thing that people with fine hair really struggle with, is that your hair just feels lifeless. So I would really recommend not only playing with like different curl patterns or waves, but really play with your texture. Whether it's going all over surfy kind of texture to your hair by using a surfifying product, or you could even just do that to the ends of your hair. So you could have your hair be like shiny and pretty throughout here, and then throw some surf product down here on your ends, and it will give you kind of a more worn look, and it will actually give you kind of like an edgier, cooler look to your hair. And it's kind of fun. It's fun to play around with it. So I just encourage you, whatever your style is, because I think depending on your different style, you will be attracted to different waves and different textures, play with it. Keep it loose. Whenever you do an updo or a half updo on fine hair, you have to kind of work a little bit harder to make it look just normal, or even make it look voluminous, because the thing is, if we pull our hair straight back, like brush it straight back and just put it into a ponytail, it's easy to kind of look bald from the front. There's a couple things that you can do to kind of maintain volume in your hair even while you're styling it. If you want to get some lift in your hair, teasing is always an option. You don't necessarily have to pack your hair down to your head in a really tight tease. You can take your favorite teasing comb and whatever section you want to tease and just lightly go like this. Just like lightly brush it. And you can see there's a little bit of teasing there, there's a little bit of roughness there, but it's not packed down to my head. But you pull it back and it still provides a little bit of lift. If you are pulling your hair straight back, or even to the side, you can stick your fingers in here so that they're kind of inside your hair, bring them back together, and then pull it forward. And it creates a little bit of volume because you're going through and you're pulling the roots back up. Parts right there, so it's being a little silly. But you can see doing that, you get a little bit of extra volume. It gets a little bit more airy, light looking instead of just going like this. So if you're pulling your hair over to the side, you don't want to pull it tight like this. It's good to, first of all, give it some slack, keep it loose, and that already helps you a lot. But you could also give a little twist to your hair and push it forward, and you can see that that gives even more little lift in there. So you can get as much as you want. If you put a little bit of teasing in there and you did all this, you could get this huge, not that you necessarily want that, but you could. But you get a little bit of that. And you could even use the trick from before where you put your fingers in, squeeze them together, and pull some of the roots forward. And you get a lot more volume. I'm not saying this is necessarily the shape you want to go for, but you can see that there's more volume here than there is when you do that number. Next thing you can do, if you're braiding your hair, it's very, very easy to get way too tight with braids with fine hair. And it ends up looking a little bit old school, a little like 1990s because it's super, super tight. First of all, you want to watch your hairline whenever you have fine hair. So if you are braiding really, really tight, then you get this kind of look right here. I don't know if that's picking up on cameras like I want it to, but it gets really, really tight. You can see like my weird hairline. Don't really want that. So if you've got your first couple braids in and you're noticing this isn't looking right, you can always go in at this point and just loosen your hair up. Just grab little pieces and pull them back forward. And you can see I've covered up my weird hairline now and I have more lift. And you can get as much lift as you want. Those are my top 5 tips for fine hair. I hope you found this helpful. Again, make sure to check out Rachel's top 5. She has a great couple tips for you guys as well, so make sure to check those out. And I will see you guys tomorrow with my next FebruHairy video. Mwah! Bye!